Nice.
Have a good night.
Mm.
Have a good sleep. I'll see you in the morning.
It's the weekend.
Heck yeah,
Mm.
it is.
That's the best when you're a kid, like your parents are home or whatever. I bet it's exciting.
Yeah,
Friday,
they
Saturday.
had a movie night at school tonight in the parking lot. Like I guess on a big screen or something. So all the kids were out there, just kids, most I guess most kids. But yeah, son just got home.
That's
All
so
right, we're
fun.
live. Did it say we're live?
hmm Go ahead and start recording the audio.
You said 2:16
Yes,
already.
sir. Three, two, one. Let's roll.
Good
Oh,
evening. Good evening, Endless Ranters. Welcome back for episode 216 of your Endless Ranters podcast. We do what we want and we appreciate your support. My name is Chris. I have been calling everything I don't like a commie for 47 years now, and I'm right. I've been right all along. And I'm one of your hosts for this evening. One of your other hosts this evening is a crunchy mom or a soggy mom living in a crunchy mom's world and a Maxwell housewife. It's Quana. How you doing?
I'm good, 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 good. Been calling everything a conspiracy for at least 15.
At least 15? You got
Yeah,
to up those
probably.
numbers. Next week, just
Yeah.
make it 17. It sounds
Okay.
better.
Okay.
That's
Yeah,
what I've been
it
doing. That's
is.
what I've been doing.
Good.
I've been
I
hating
mean,
commies since I
provable
was
on
little.
Facebook. I get reminders. I'm like, yep, you were fucking crazy back then too. Go bitch.
And there's Man with the Plan. It's producer Manny. What's going down, old man?
Chris, Quana, it's good to be back once again with you both to meet the moment this week on Friday.
Yes. We missed you last
To
week.
meet the moment. Is that where we're
Yeah,
meeting the moment? Wow,
yeah, we're
that's
meeting the moment. We're meeting the moment once
serious.
again.
Where are
Okay.
you, buddy? You have some new background. What's going on, man? What's going
Oh,
on down there in California? And I guess large parts of it are dealing with the fire still. A couple months later.
still a lot of rebuilding going on. There's been a bunch of debris nonstop being hauled out of Altadena this since I don't know, a couple weeks now. It feels like.
Oh, so unlike Adam Carolla's Malibu, they're actually cleaning up the place. They're cleaning up
Sadina,
the sites.
Little by little, yeah, the
but
most
with a
that
private company, right?
yeah, Anvil, I think it was called.
Yeah.
I've been seeing the trucks, I've been seeing the logos. Like, all right, I see y'all doing your thing. Um, but obviously they're cleaning out the more heavily affected areas first, and then they've been also working just to get everything up and running as far as like the utilities have been concerned. I was actually up at my house earlier today and I noticed that the area was blocked off once again for I don't know what sort of maintenance was going on. Maybe it was mostly just like
You know what I read today?
what's that?
They found the world's largest deposit of lithium in Altadena.
You know
You hadn't
what?
heard that yet, Quana? Are you kidding me? Like, oh my,
I've been staying
it's
off the
like,
computer.
huh?
I was gonna hold off on talking about that, but
And
you
under Pacific Palisades. Oddly enough, all the cobalt we need or whatever,
Make fun all you want. I hope I
stuff.
live to see the 15-minute cities.
I live in a 15-minute city. You kidding me?
I
I'm
do
already
too.
like,
I love
yeah.
it. Freaking love it. I love everything so close.
It's not bad. It's not really bad. It's like
Epic brag. I
very,
haven't left Roseville since 2020,
I
and it's
mean,
true.
I think I see. I don't like those 15-minute city things, that like those types of things, because it's just like
listen, man, they're
back
all just gonna
back in
pack us
the
in, man.
back in the 1800s, they were like, we need to make a 3-hour city. You know what I mean? Like, because that's how long it
Yeah.
takes to get on a wagon and get to like
Yes.
the general store. It's like, oh, isn't
Yeah.
that awesome? A 3-hour city? That's amazing. I wish we
Yeah.
could have it, because we live in a 14-day city right now where it takes us
Right.
14 days in the wagon to get to the gym. Yeah,
Yeah.
so it's
I feel
like,
like we've made it. We're like the Jeffersons.
yeah, but it does also, but you gotta, well, the downside of my 15-minute city is like everything's a Chili's or like a
Oh,
Raising
yeah.
Cane's or a McDonald's, or
Really?
everything is. everything is a chain right now because everything's
Oh,
new. Like there's
oh,
no,
Yeah.
okay.
you don't really get a brand new shopping center without like all the chains committing to it.
Interesting.
And then I grew up in Baltimore where everything was built out. It's a huge difference. Like when I grew up, like the area I grew up in Baltimore, it was built out. So every
Interesting.
restaurant, every cheesesteak place, every cafe, deli, whatever, had been there for 20, 30 years.
Hmm.
Right.
And it smelled like it. But every place here is like, it smells like Mr. Clean. It smells like cleaner. Like, it's like
Interesting.
it's and it's a chain. It's I hope that, maybe in a decade or something like that, there's a bunch of mom and pops that pop up,
Yeah. Not even
it's
in like the
also
little
not
shopping centers. There's
but it's
nothing.
also not like
They don't
this
have
is
the
like a
money.
this is like a very suburban area, so it's like it's not like growing up in Baltimore where there's a lot of like working class people that are, you
Yeah.
know, doing food trucks and then doing a restaurant or, something like that. It's like here, it's like, oh, it's like I'm a software engineer. I don't really want to I have no interest in like making street tacos for people.
Right.
It's like
I guess I don't even
so
really
we
think
all just
about
get
the
stuck
benefit of living in
going to
Sacramento.
Chili's.
Like even our drab
Yeah,
places are still,
good.
have a couple
Yeah,
great
I
restaurants,
miss
little
that. Like
small
most
spots,
like I remember like
cultural spots.
growing up, like leaving home 18, getting an apartment, getting like those places, like every little shopping center in Baltimore, even in the suburbs, would have a place that it would have like amazing Italian, like would have like
Ugh,
cheesesteaks, like
yeah.
authentic, really good cheesesteaks, crab cakes. That's a
And
Baltimore
pad
thing,
thai.
but
All right,
no,
so I
none of
have
that shit. None of that. No.
two things
I never heard of that
to
before I never even heard of that before I
pad
left
thai.
Baltimore.
What the fuck is that? Anyway, no, so
Yeah, no.
one thing that you said because of the 15-minute cities prior to how we used to live, what if like how the pendulum has swung socially with everyone going red lately? What if instead of going 15-minute, we revert back to the 2, 3 hour cities where everything is just like, you know what?
I
Everything needs
think
to be more spread out, damn it.
Yeah.
Everything's too close.
I think that's why people react negatively to the 15-minute city thing, even though they like kind of that's why their home is going up in value because they live near like they live
Stuff.
near all the stuff you need.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Because there is like a yearning to kind of do the opposite of that somehow
Hmm. Okay.
and be further away, and
Right. There's a show on Apple TV called Silo. Have you guys watched any of that?
No.
love it. Love
Okay.
it. Did you finish it yet?
No, I haven't finished it, but I'm loving
Oh
it.
man, it's incredible. It's incredible. 2 seasons, I think, so far. Yeah, Coop and
Okay.
Russ from the Two Grumpy Bastards. They also.
Shout
You
out.
know what? No, I'm sorry. Russ didn't watch it. He's met the author, of course,
Oh, well,
but Coop is a
when
big
you're
fan.
smart and know everything, that's
Wait,
Yeah. I
works.
does the
think I
name
know
of
Russ read the book or something and knew like met the author, so he hasn't watched the show. But Coop watched it. He loved it. So
does the
Gotcha.
name imply
that's
that the
really
show's
good.
about agriculture, or am I wrong in thinking that?
It's like a 15-minute city within a silo. Got
Oh,
everything you would need.
oh,
It's
But
oh,
it's
It's
okay.
apocalyptic,
yeah,
post-apocalyptic.
post-apocalyptic world and all humans are living in these silos, but they're self-contained. You learn later that they're all connected somehow or
Yeah.
something, and then like someone eventually gets out of a silo, but
Hmm.
um yeah, it's all self-contained. It's a great show. It's
Okay.
very I love those shows. I love that. That's a great show. There's a show called where there was a movie called oh crap, I'm gonna forget it. It's the train. There's a
Oh,
train going very
Snowpiercer?
Snowpiercer. Yeah, there you
Oh, okay.
go.
There's another train movie
Snowpiercer
that
the
came out on
movie
Netflix.
and Snowpiercer. There's a TV show called Snowpiercer, not nearly as good, but Snowpiercer it's but it's like it's very interesting because it's very there's class systems,
Yeah.
right? There's limited resources and it like shows like what do humans do, when there's limited resources, there's class systems, there's there's just divisions that come up. So it's just, I don't know. It's very interesting.
All
Well,
right.
speaking of
Like
divisions,
the inevitability of the conflict in it is like a lot of it. Yeah. So
I'm about to cause some conflict and division here amongst the show. I'm not a fan of Philly cheesesteak sandwiches. Christopher, what's your favorite and why are they appealing?
oh, a cheesesteak
Yeah.
because it's delicious. It's greasy, cheesy. It's got like when I was a kid,
Mm,
I just wanted cheese
processed
and
cheese or
greasy.
provolone?
Provolone would be the
Okay.
preferred. Yeah, for sure.
Uh,
When I was a kid, we'd have like steakums on like just whatever, like the sub rolls. My mom would make steakums with provolone cheese. I didn't want any of the onions and peppers, but now it's like that's good stuff.
yeah.
So
Nah, I don't
it's like
know.
a, I mean, it's like a,
It's like a
I would
French
almost
dip.
I would almost compare like I mean, it doesn't have the like Mexican seasonings, but like you're talking about like onions and green like red and green peppers chopped up
Right,
with thinly sliced beef,
right.
like sizzled up in a cast iron pan and then put in a bread, some kind of bread
Yeah.
medium,
Hmm.
you know, vessel. So it's like you should be
Is
down
it-
with it, man.
I should be, but I think maybe it's just
It's
all
like
of
a
the
tor isn't that, don't you have something? It's, I don't want to say that. I don't want to
Yeah,
speak
it's called a
Spanish on this
fajita. I
show.
was gonna say it.
No, it's a tort. I think it's called a torta, right?
Yeah, it is. It is.
Okay. Thank you. Did I
Or
say that
Um,
right?
gordita. It's called a gordita.
No,
well, no,
that's
no,
at
the
Taco Bell.
gordita, no, that's a different thing altogether. But no,
But it's
it's
like
close.
thick. It's like thicker, you know.
No,
Well,
it a torta is literally, it's like a
it's-
Oh,
round
it's like
bread,
thick. Oh yeah, yeah. Okay, okay, I got you.
yeah.
but
But
it
the
is
thing is,
literally a sandwich, right?
yeah, and it's funny because I had one of those for breakfast today, so it's funny that you
Nice.
mentioned
Or breakfast
it.
torta.
Yeah.
I don't know how
Uh,
to say breakfast in Spanish. I would have tried.
desayuno. But the thing about the torta is that I think it's because the thing about the Philly cheesesteak is that there's all the examples I've seen is like an excess amount of cheese and just like more bell peppers and onions. It's just like, nah, that's too much.
Yeah, not too much. Like you, I mean, you had me like you're complaining about cheese there, which is strange.
I was got confused for a second. I was
Whereas
like,
like, but then
what?
like, yeah, you could go too heavy on the onions and peppers because it's supposed to be steak, not like a freaking
And mushrooms, right?
vegetable
There's mushrooms
sandwich.
in it too,
Well, see,
right?
No,
that's another
no,
negative.
no,
I don't
no,
know
Yeah,
why
yeah,
sorry.
you would
yeah. And then like you put like a
I'm
spicy,
on my
like
own
a
here.
that giardinelli or whatever, that spicy pepper stuff on top,
Oh, who
right?
does that? That's not like only certain states do that or certain regions do
Okay.
the giardarelli or whatever that, yeah,
Yeah.
like whatever
It's
that's
really
called.
good on there. It's like spicy and vinegary, and then it cuts the
Forget where I saw that.
cheese. Yeah,
But
that's a good
no, not
sandwich.
I don't think they put that on a Philly cheesesteak.
My place, my Philly cheese place has, you can get it just plain, you can get it with cheese, you can get it with cheese and onions, you can get it with cheese, onions, and peppers, you can get it with cheese, onions, peppers, mushrooms. So,
I don't even have a chili cheesesteak, Philly cheesesteak place. I don't even
well,
have
I'm
one. That's
sorry,
the
that's
region.
I don't think
goddamn.
I don't think Texas is big on that, to be honest with you.
What you
Yeah, that
sacrifice
I mean
in
that's
great
true. That
eats,
part that's
you
true.
make
Like
up
yeah,
for in
people
like
just
good schooling, good school districts.
I guess. I mean, I just got
Yeah.
something. We got something. We got to sign a thing because my son's got to go into like. Do we want to? Do we? Do we want to opt out of him going to healthy relationships class next week? Like,
What? I'm sorry, what's
I'm
that?
not sure. Like, I feel like
No,
maybe we
opt
should.
in.
It
Make them opt
seems.
in because it makes them uncomfortable. And it's a
Oh
good,
man,
uncomfortable feeling where you're all uncomfortable together. It's a good
I don't
experience.
know, but
It's a good
it's like what
experience.
are they defining as healthy relationships these days?
Well,
I
wouldn't
don't.
you like to know? Tell CJ to record it. Tell him pull out his
Yeah.
phone, record it. We want to know.
We don't
Yeah,
give him a
what
phone.
would be
That's
defined
the
as
that's the
healthy
thing. Like
and
that's
as a
Yeah.
relationship?
but we don't allow phone. Like those he'll have
So
no
that you
phone
can
for a
tell
while.
him
Nah, send him in with a wire,
that's
son,
some
undercover.
bullshit. Yeah.
I probably will make fun of him about it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Just like I said, like I've said, I haven't said in a while, but
Well, they
it's
tell
never
him
too
stuff
early.
about, they tell him stuff, and then they come home and they're like, is this true? Is that not true? I mean, it opens a
Well,
conversation.
they're also in an age where like you cannot get straight answers out of these
It's a
children.
lot.
Just
Yeah.
said something. You can't get straight answer out of these MFers. Like, it's like, what, like, what do you do? What'd you do at practice today? I didn't have practice. Okay. Well, it said you had practice. He's like, yeah, it wasn't practice. We just had to run. It's like, okay, so you did have practice, but it's like, well, we
Yeah.
kicked a little bit, but it was pretty boring.
Wordsmith.
It's like,
Wordsmith.
then all of a sudden it's like, it was pretty boring. We barely kicked the ball. It's like,
Is it that, or are they being pedantic without knowing it?
I don't know. It's like, well, I also don't really like, it's like, I also have a
They
personal
don't
thing. It's
like,
like, you don't really give up information if you don't need to. It's
Mm.
you're
All
on
of
a
a
need to
sudden,
know. Like everyone's on a need to know basis.
it becomes like they want to be private for no reason. So they're private about stuff that doesn't fucking matter because they're being private
Yeah.
about stuff that does matter. So it's like privacy just across the board. Like it's just
There's
like,
also like
what'd you eat
they're
today?
also
Nothing.
just yeah, it's just like if I just say nothing, maybe this they'll just go away. They'll just stop. They'll just
They want
stop
to be
asking me
left alone.
questions.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
But it's
That's
hard to get
exactly
straight
what it is.
answers. You'll be like, just even on stuff that I know is important to them. Like,
Mhm.
Yeah.
what time did be a band tomorrow? Like
Yeah.
before the
Like,
bus
hey, what
leaves.
is this? An interrogation
I'm
here?
not sure. Like what time? What did the teacher tell you? I'm not really sure. Like, yeah. Anyway,
Yeah. That is.
but back
These are
to
the good
yeah. Like I
years. You'll
wish I
miss it.
lived. I wish we lived. Like I really like. I see a lot of Facebook videos about like crazy foods, right?
Yes.
It's
I
like
send them to Manny.
I know that none of those things are happening around here. None
Yeah.
of those things are happening in the suburbs of North Texas.
Yeah.
But I know, like, if you live like where Rob lives, maybe even
Or
Manny,
Manny.
well, Manny lives in the
Manny
suburbs
lives
still.
close to the barbecue place where Lip talks about all the time, where the guy came to the comedy store and like laid out the best barbecue he's ever had in his life. Manny lives 30 minutes from it. 30
30 minutes.
minutes.
That's a decent estimate.
Yeah.
I'd say
Uh-huh.
maybe an hour better, to be honest with you, given traffic over here. But
All
Yeah, you
right.
guys have like in like the big in the cities, they have like, like there were foreigners that came over like 30, 40 years ago, set up shop, and they're just like making awesome, crazy meats
mhm.
and just
Yeah.
yeah,
We have a lot of like little
I miss that. I miss that from the East
restaurants like
Coast.
that in like shopping centers. Like there'll be a Rayleigh's as the anchor, but then there's like a lot of little like a Thai restaurant or a Greek restaurant. Can't say Lebanese, but
Yeah.
anyways, food is good. Lots of good food here. And that sucks because I can't imagine only, I mean, yeah, I can't imagine. I have a gift card in my purse that I've had for a year so, for
I think there's
Chili's.
also like in this area, there's just kind of a people have nice houses and just or it's Texas, so like things are spacious. So everybody has like a big kitchen and it's
Yeah,
like
lots of good cooking.
it doesn't really make sense, in a sprawling suburbs where everybody's got like the kitchen they always wanted to like
Yeah.
go out to eat a lot or like order out a lot of food. So it's like you kind of feel like you have to cook and
Yep.
use the space. So
Agreed.
so what happened this week? Let's see. What happened? Was it Monday night? What
Let's
night was it that
let's
Wednesday?
actually take it a little bit back. Throw it back a bit
Oh,
to
okay. Okay, we'll back up.
a blast from the past. Casey Anthony joining TikTok.
It's
Oh,
horrible.
adding more and more depth to
She came out as a
TikTok's.
lesbian too, right? Is that what I'm to
I'm
understand?
sorry,
Oh,
what?
I
I
think
might have dreamt
I
that.
thought she was just an ally. But I mean,
Oh,
I can
okay.
see like there's I
Okay.
mean, you can put her on a lie detector test and she's dabbled. You know what I mean? Like I'm not going to take no for an answer there. She's dabbled.
It's safe to say that a woman that did what she
We
did has
listen and we
dabbled in
don't
many.
judge. We listen and we don't judge. Oh, okay. But with her, we do judge, and she should not be on TikTok,
Well,
right?
yeah, it's like there's combinations. Like you can dabble in one thing, not a
Yeah.
problem. Then you combine that with like killing your child, and it's like
Ugh.
that's an area where it's like now all your dabbling, all everything you're interested in seems very suspect.
She had to
You know what
have,
I mean? She was
she
into
has to have like
knitting.
a core group of friends that are like, do it, girl. Like, it's died over. Like she has new friends that like she has justified it in
They would
some
new.
way.
They would have to be new though,
Yeah,
not
yeah, yeah,
not like
yeah.
old friends.
And they're
Yeah.
younger. They're younger, so like maybe they don't even remember. Maybe they were in high school and it just like went past them. You know what I mean? So they're a
Any
little
old
bit
friends.
younger. Yeah.
Do you
Yeah.
think she uses her real name or an alias?
She I think her TikTok name is Casey Anthony.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
she's like
Damn. Okay, never mind.
she's like I'm famous, man. What are you talking about? I mean,
No,
I
it's
mean,
man. As far as like getting
so
new friends,
but I'm famous.
fuck.
Sick. It's so sick.
Oh man, where the hell's Nancy Grace? Is she dead? Is she alive? Where is she?
You know
I
what?
think she's
Where
just she's
I
sick
think
of
the
why
her
is she
timeline
not
that we're
responding?
in, she doesn't like she's not crossing because I feel like I used to have a whole lot more Nancy Grace in my life.
But I don't understand
Right?
why she's had days to respond and like get on CNN or to
Make her own TikTok.
HLN. Yeah, like get on there and start yelling at, like I don't
This is
really
the
like her,
perfect
but I
time
mean
for her
like
to
this
make
is
a
your time
TikTok.
to yeah, this is like the
It's
the
your time to
the
shine, girl.
yeah, yeah. The bat signal's up in the sky for your batshit craziness. The batshit signal's up in the sky, and it's time for
Maybe
you to
she's
swoop
busy with
down.
Trump. Maybe she's busy with Trump and
Time
Elon stealing her bank account.
time to
I
swoop
don't know if
down and
she's
start
like that, but
yelling at Casey Anthony and talking about how disgusting this is.
yeah,
Mhm.
Because
it is.
Nancy Grace is going to be showing up in a week, being like, "We need to ban TikTok."
Again.
Because
Try to.
I mean, it might be a good
of Casey
reason.
Anthony. Man, Nancy Grace was a phenomenon for a while. Like, wasn't she?
Yeah.
Man, she had a lot of thoughts about, you know, right or wrong. Probably mostly not. I would say not good, but she kind of dictated what people thought about a lot of stuff for a short period of time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for
Mhm.
sure.
Like,
For sure.
man, that was
Well,
about
we
just
had some
mostly like murder
crazy
stuff.
we had some crazy murder trials and right? Like interesting. I'm sure they're
Yeah.
all the time, but sometimes they're like spotlighted. Like if you think about it, like the Scott Peterson case, like Casey Anthony case, like people kill their kids all the time. My own mother was like a witness in a child murder case.
Oh, okay.
Like these
Okay.
things happen.
It's like,
No,
Where's the
no,
body,
I was
Quana?
like,
Tell
a
us.
witness, a witness. Okay. I
a
was
witness. Yeah. But I'm
like
just
my own
saying, like,
mother off like three or four, like, like it was child's play,
well,
literally.
yeah, we won't get
Oh,
into that.
whatever.
She might be watching. She did reach out. Anyways.
Got a sweet, like, multi-level marketing deal for you, like to sell soaps.
Anyways. Oh, I might have to change my name to Kelly. Um, yeah. Anyways,
Kelly.
Casey Anthony, Scott Peterson,
And then
drinking.
and then what is it? The former Endless Ranters guest.
Oh
More
yeah,
updates
yeah.
on
Speaking
that.
of death,
Oh man.
can we get him on?
I doubt it.
I
Christopher,
think
reach
he's
out.
busy. I feel like he's
Listen, he has
laying low.
who hasn't bought cocaine and it's laced with something? He could blame the cartels for this problem.
Well, okay. Well, number one, we don't need to be getting tied into that kind of business.
I'm
But
just
number
saying
two,
his
like
friend,
it
they
does
lay
sound
he
like it
does
does
sound like a
sound
homie
like
had a plate of cocaine laid out. Like
he
that's
does. Yeah, I mean, shout out player. You throw a hell of a party, bro. But well, most of the time, up until
It
all
goes
but one.
south.
Like
Yeah.
you were 99 out of 100, man. And then, you know,
It only takes one.
sometimes sometimes you know,
Yeah. Thanks, Obama, for
what can
opening
you do?
up the
But you
border.
just, like that's his whole defense. It's just like
The
shrugging a
open
lot. Like,
border. The open
what are you gonna do?
border. Thanks, Obama.
Uh, exactly. This is China's fault. We need to put some tariffs on them.
You think that this guy put out a plate of cocaine for his friends and knew that it was laced with fentanyl? Absolutely
Correct.
fucking
Yeah.
not. Obama's the
Absolutely.
only one to blame for that.
Well, Obama and China,
You
but
don't put
mostly
out a plate of
Obama.
cocaine for your friends to
Yeah,
kill
I was
them.
gonna say like it does kind of sound like there's. I mean, it's like, is there any news? is there anybody going to report on the news or what? Because it's like every article about this is so half-assed. There's no
Yeah,
information,
we
but
might
it
have
does
to be the people
sound
that
like,
report it.
yeah. I mean, I care about the guy a little bit, but not that
Yeah.
much. He was, he was a pretty good guest. But then I think I texted him after that to say, hey, I mean, you should be a regular to like talk about some science stuff, and he never responded. So it's like, fuck him.
Oh, he didn't like you.
Like,
Okay.
sorry, buddy. Like, but yeah, whatever. That's why, you know.
I'm just saying. I
I'm
don't
not
think
really
I,
biased. I'm saying, yeah, you're right. I think he just brought the cocaine. Like he just brought the drugs. Like he bought the drugs from some dude
thought he was
and he
throwing a
brought
bomb
them.
ass party. Put it out on
He
a
brought
plate. Like
them
that's baller. That's
and
from a movie. And you don't
but
have cats.
But they
Clearly,
were
no cats.
what is like what they can make a movie out of is what the next like 36 hours were like
yeah,
for him
yeah.
because I think his story after that is real sketchy about how he went to bed and he didn't have his
That's
phone
true
and he
though.
had
If you do
headphones
cocaine,
on.
I'm telling you right now, I've only done it a couple times, but the next day, erase it. It's the
But it
worst
went
day of
it
your
went
life.
on for a little longer. Like, okay, so like what his friends were saying was he has dogs, so like the dogs have to go outside, so it's not
Oh,
like you can
then
just
fuck
be
that.
asleep.
Yeah, there's
But
no
then
days off
I
with dogs.
remember, but I remember some specific thing in the early reporting was that his dogs were at his parents' house or
Should we
something like
clarify
that.
that this was an early Endless Ranters guest
Yeah,
that
Yeah,
we're
back in
yeah,
the
talking about?
US.
Okay. Because Manny
yeah.
was,
No, I'm
Um,
aware.
but like there
okay.
was some weird detail in the stories that his dogs were at his parents, and it's just like
Okay.
why or not maybe not parent, but his dogs weren't there. But it's like why would you
Because he
throw that in
planned on
there? It's
partying
because
hard.
like maybe,
Maybe.
but he had a backyard. I don't know, but
It was snowing. That's why that was
I
the
was
other
gonna
thing too.
and
say,
they're also like people are there. I mean, it's been they've everybody says that there wasn't enough snow to cover up bodies. Like there wasn't a blizzard where like you had to wait for a thaw. Like these like they found the first person on the patio.
Yeah.
So it's like, and then the other people at like a fire pit or something.
okay,
So
I
his
let my
story
dog
after,
out
but
once a day because I walk them, but once a day he'll like go out there. And I only look right there, but I have a whole other part of the yard that I mean, there could be bodies over there for a
that's
couple
true.
days,
That is true.
you know.
Um,
I just open the
that
door.
is
I don't like
true.
examine.
I
It's too
can't. I have a
cold.
hard time. I scan everything all the time, so it's
Um,
like
I have a whole side yard I haven't seen in it since it got cold. Like I'm not even out there. It's too cold.
no, I'm out there. Like I'm always looking at something, and just so I have a hard time imagining that. But I try to imagine that like you just let your dogs out the back door.
Yeah,
You're hammered, so you're doing your underwear, and you just wait
yeah,
for them to scratch, and then you let them
that
back
is me,
in.
literally.
Yeah, and then yeah.
I mean, I believe it. Get him on the pod.
But it was a
I gotta,
long time, and and he was getting a lot of messages. I guess at the same time, you could check out and not answer, and not look at your phone, or just ignore everything.
yeah,
And also at the same time, it's like obviously he was, you know, not a like maybe not a functioning drug addict. Like he
right.
was like it was kind of coming to a head where he was having some like it was going too far.
Hmm.
I mean, if you're putting out a plate of cocaine for your friends, that kind of insinuates that you have you're partying, right? I've never seen a plate of
Yeah,
cocaine. I
that's
mean, I've, you know,
yeah, that's like Tony Montana things or whatever.
yeah, yeah. Maybe he
uh
made the cocaine. Maybe that's what the story is. I
I
don't know what
don't know.
cocaine
He said,
is. Can
"Look,
you
I'm
make
just gonna
it?
cut out
I
the
don't know.
middleman and make it myself. Here we
Can you make
go."
it? You can make crack. You can make meth.
But the
Well, I mean,
picture,
you need the coca leaves and all the other raw materials and whatnot. I mean,
Okay. So,
yeah.
okay.
yeah,
I mean, I don't know. I don't
The
know.
guy's name was Jordan Willis. He was an early guest on Endless Ranters with me and Jaden. We were
Yeah.
talking about just like Adam Carolla show and how he came to listen.
Do you think he's still in the Adam Carolla group?
No, he deleted all his social media.
Okay. After the murders.
Yeah.
Yeah, because as soon as I saw, like, I mean, it was like the top story in Daily Mail the day it happened. or the
Yeah.
day after. And I started reading it and I was like Jordan, and it's like Jordan Willis,
Yeah.
scientist or HIV researcher. And I was like,
Yeah, it would be like KJ.
whoa, okay.
Herpes.
I was like, I was like, that name sounds familiar. I was like, there's a Jordan Willis in our groups.
Yeah.
So like I probably checked the Adam Carolla group. I think I was even Facebook. No, I was Facebook friends with him. Yes, for sure. Because he was a guest and we were Facebook friends. And I remember like seeing his posts about his dogs and moving, not to the house where this all happened, but I remember like he moved to some like cool like condo high rise in Kansas City or something. And
Gotcha.
but he was like a just a like he had it all together,
Yeah.
you know.
Well, not according to the Daily Mail this morning.
But then
Not so
that
much.
picture, like he looked unrecognizable because all the
All that
like
hard living.
the recent stories were that he was in the clear, but arrests were imminent. And it's like, oh, okay, they're going to arrest a couple drug dealers. Well, they arrested a drug dealer and Jordan. So,
Yeah.
but man, he like that's like I just I feel bad for people that invest so much time in something
Hmm.
Right.
like a profession, a study, a science, and then like
Yeah.
they just fuck up another part of their life so bad that now they can't even do that. And it's like, what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
What's he gonna do? He's probably gonna go to jail for a while. Maybe I don't know. Like
Maybe he'll get another degree while he's in jail. Another.
a legal degree.
Yeah, there you go. A doctor, a scientist, and a lawyer.
Yeah, just that yeah, that sucks, because I guess he was pretty whatever, he was pretty good at what he did.
Sure. Maybe it was
Like
making cocaine. I mean,
yeah, he's like a Walter White.
yeah. Or, yeah. See, this is what he should do. He should come on the podcast and tell us, did he make cocaine or was it bought?
I think
Oh
his
my
lawyers would
God.
tell him don't do that right now.
Yeah.
Like,
We get
But
it,
we're old
Conan.
friends. It's just a conversation.
speaking of jailhouse interviews, though, like, did you see Tucker real quick? Just
I'm
Tucker
a
interviewed
couple minutes
Sam
into
Bankman
it.
Fried or Fried,
Yeah.
whatever. I didn't think it was that. I listened to like 20, 30 minutes. It was kind of like,
Yeah. It's not really
it was kind of, it
groundbreaking.
was kind of interesting from the standpoint of like, kind of the same thing. Like, wow, this guy really fucked up his life.
Yeah.
Like,
I like how Tucker called him out immediately. He's like, you sounded like you were jacked down on Adderall every time I ever saw you speak
Yeah.
before.
well, he had a good defense. He was like, I wasn't. He was like, I was just like, I mean, he's basically like, I was just fucking freaking out because I was like, the whole world's coming at me. Like, goddamn
Not
UN is
bad.
coming at me. The World Health Organization's coming at me. Like, Tom Brady's coming at you know, like his parents were about to lose. Like, he gave his parents a house, and they were like, we're taking that back.
Yeah.
Like, think twice about that. Like,
Yeah.
To
your
one
parents
of
have to
Yeah.
go back to the normal life.
man.
Yeah.
He had a pretty good, but that was just it was a little bit interesting. I kind of stopped listening and then I wouldn't go
Yeah.
back to it.
Yeah. Yeah. But you were talking about Candace Owens dropping. I love that you think that her racism is postpartum depression. Or
I
somebody
didn't say that. No,
somebody
who said
you
that?
said that, right? You said
No, it's that comedian Ben Bankus.
okay. So he was joking.
He's, well, he doesn't really come off as it, but he's Jewish. So he was in that bit. He was talking about how Candace Owens was actually starting to make Jewish people less racist.
Right?
And
But
like
then
his
she
and
got
like
pregnant.
he was talking about how his dad was like actually really loved Candace Owens, and then
Yeah.
Candace Owens was just like Israel,
Yeah.
um, that broke a bunch of hearts, Jewish
Yeah.
hearts. But yeah, he said, I guess I don't really know. I don't follow that closely, but I guess to some people she turned when she got pregnant or had a baby or
Yeah.
something. I really don't. I have no idea.
Her husband is like
I mean,
some sort
it's a
of
funny
like
bit.
prince or something like that. Some sort of royalty. I don't know. Interesting. All of her stuff is really interesting. I guess she interviewed Weinstein. And so, and you were saying, you asked in the group chat about why everyone stopped talking about the Macron stuff. I think she was served with some papers to like stop talking. So,
Well, also like, why did it? She's been talking about it a while. Like, why did it come up so? Like, why did it all of a sudden come up and like get? Because it wasn't new, but
right.
it came out. It got catapulted to the top of Daily Mail and other stuff for like maybe 24, 36 hours.
But that's the news
Um,
cycle, right?
yeah, I guess so. Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's kind of like a. It's usually a little bit not so much about chicks with dicks. So, like that's usually not part of the news cycle.
I
But
mean, Gavin's talking about it. Did you
On
hear
his new
that?
podcast, is that where he's
Yeah.
talking about it on?
what?
Yeah. He said that he's like it's unfair, is what he said about trans people in sports.
Oh yeah, what is he trying? What is Gavin Newsom trying to do? Is he
I
trying
don't
to
know.
rehabilitate himself as like a dude
Yes,
bro and like the dude
yes,
bro
he is.
podcast
Podcaster.
circuit? I
Yeah.
mean,
Yes.
get the hell what the? Oh, I mean, come on. Like
Yeah.
he cannot. Did he? Oh
Yes.
boy, he can't be that
Yes.
stupid. He really can't
Yes.
be that.
And you know what? I called out
He
his nose
really can't
job,
be
but
that
he's
stupid.
wearing like a button-down shirt. He's wearing a button-down shirt and his jeans are cut. You know how your jeans will sometimes cut and like put your belly a little bit out? So he's
Yeah.
wearing a button-down shirt and the bottom button is just like it's working its way out. And like you can tell he doesn't want to do it. You can tell like so that was his podcast. He invited Charlie Kirk there. Is that right?
I thought that
I
was
believe so. That's
Okay.
okay.
his new format is talking to
Okay.
conserv
People that
talking
fucking hate his
to I
guts.
think I even heard like talking to MAGA types
Yeah.
with this weird thing where it's like where he's saying like you guys are kicking butt, but it's like he's saying in a way where it's like you're not it's true, but you're not sincere at all.
It's interesting. I'm only
Like
watching the
you're
clips
not
because I don't want to give him the views, but the clips are wild. It's Charlie Kirk called him out because he just kept saying Jesus Christ, like after everything, Jesus Christ. He's like, why do you keep saying the Lord's name in vain? And he
yeah,
just he
Charlie.
just kept doing it.
I too just saw the clips and it was like Charlie Kirk was just like, oh my God, is this for real? Like pinch me. Is this for real? Like is this it's like it's like bowling, from like 10 feet away. Like what is
Well, we
it? This is
saw
like
his interview with Adam Carolla. I mean, Adam Carolla dusted him for an hour straight, just
yeah.
bah, 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 bah. Like,
He
why
hasn't
would
gotten
you
better.
open yourself up to let smart people talk to you all the time? You know
Yeah.
what I mean?
Yeah, even us, like we've heard that Adam Carolla bit so many times, or the interview so many times, that we've kind of gotten
Yeah.
numb to it. But at the time, like that was
Mhm.
devastating at the time. Like,
Yeah,
but
for
it's
sure.
kind of gotten like numb. We've gotten numb to it a little bit 'cause we've heard it so
Right.
much. But yeah, I guess
But
he's
not a lot
not
of people have heard
gotten
it,
gotten
but
dumber. He's gotten
he hasn't
dumber.
learned a lesson either.
I can't like it'll be. I mean, who's he gonna? And it's like it's also like is it is it sadomasochism when you do it to yourself, or is masochist
Maybe.
whatever? Like, is he a masochist or like why would he do that? Like, was he gonna have Tucker on next to just like call him a bitch the whole like just like call him a cuckold to his face the whole time? Like, what's he
I
gonna
mean,
like?
his
What's the
wife
next move?
literally went down on Weinstein for political money for him. Like, why are you putting yourself out there like this? Like, for comment sections? Because
Yeah,
I was in his
yeah,
comment
really.
section today and, I said some things that, people would say. I feel like that's going to be more, why are you putting yourself on TikTok? Why are you putting your
Who
clips
would
on
he?
TikTok?
Maybe he'll do like a Adam Carolla round two because he thinks that he'll win this time. And from the show, I'll be just like, "Listen here, you twat!" And just destroy,
That
That'd
would
be
be
great.
so good. I would
and just
love
like
that.
get up and smack him.
Oh my
Like,
gosh. We should start tweeting. We want Adam Carolla on his podcast. If he's
yeah,
on
have
Twitter, you
some
should tweet
nuts.
that.
Like, yeah.
Why not? Adam says he's always down to go on anyone's show,
And
so
he does, yeah.
Who else would be next that he would have? Because he's gonna have MAGA people. What's he gonna have? Like Steve Bannon.
Oh
I
my
mean,
God.
they're not even on the same like like plane of existence, like
Marjorie
One of the
Taylor
clips
Greene.
that I saw was at the end.
that would be pretty crazy because it would just be like retard on retard crime. Even though, like she's a delightful
She'd be
woman.
like, F you.
She's like, yeah, she'd start
She'd fight
cussing.
him.
They would get down, they would get low pretty quick.
Physical.
Her
I mean,
They might get physical.
they'd be talking about how ugly their spouses are, stuff like that. She'd be going to Weinstein. She'd be talking about Weinstein. She'd be talking
Yeah.
about Kimberly Guilfoyle. Yeah, Marjorie would go low because she's I mean, but then she's a
She's scrappy.
scrapper.
I love her. I love it.
Mhm.
Love that kind of
I
gal.
swear like I will say it, she's that mom on the sideline at youth football. And
Yeah.
she's the mom of one of the kids on your team. And she's always
Yeah.
like just screaming horrific stuff at the refs, but you're just like, I'm just glad she's on my side, you know. Don't make eye contact. Yeah, it's you. It's Squana.
Oh my God.
So it's like to me, it's like she's just like a regular lady, like a regular
Yeah.
Yeah.
kind of
Yeah.
regular as in like, slightly unhinged, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
doing what she
They
wants.
exist. Yeah.
That'd be fun. It'd be fun to see that.
That would be.
But yeah, what is he trying to do? What is he
You
trying to
can
do?
tell he's not into it though, because I saw one clip that it was over, like you could tell that the podcast was over. You're like, are we done? Is it over? Like you can tell that he's kind
Well,
of suffering through it.
Because
I think that
he's
it's like
answering to his people, to his
Yeah.
boss, his superiors. They're just like, look,
I I'm not sure if this is real or not, but
Followers.
supposedly I mentioned her, like Kimberly Guilfoyle,
hmm,
Yeah.
Donald Trump Jr.'s former ex, or
Yeah.
like love,
His most recent ex.
uh, and Gavin Newsom's ex. Like
Yeah.
she is part of this. She's part of this podcast like setup. So
Really?
maybe
That's
she's the
interesting.
one. Like maybe she's dumb. Possible. She because she's just like, what you should do to rehabilitate your image is like
Maybe she
go
hates
on
him
and
so much.
like
Maybe,
humiliate yourself to a bunch
maybe
of
she's
like
still with Don Jr.
this is all
The
just
breakup
one
is
deep
fake, and that's why
troll.
Don Jr.'s with this beautiful model
maybe
now.
just to humiliate.
Yes, that's what I said that today. I said I think it's a humiliation ritual. Wait till you see the shirt. Notice the shirt. Like his belly's like sticking just enough over, and it's like for somebody that is so like pressed the way that he is not going to be happy with the way that shirt is
Um,
showing his stomach
uh-oh.
to the point where
That's
they might
all.
have to edit it out.
It's all theater, man. Everything
He's
is
got to
all
stop it
theater.
though. Isn't he the governor? Isn't he actually still the governor of California?
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
so right? Like
That's what they say.
man,
Why do you get enough
I
time?
don't know. It's not like if Governor Abbott of Texas had a podcast, but he was just kind of I don't think he does. But if he did, and it
Yet.
was just like a here's what we've done this week, okay. But like I'm gonna take some time to set up a
Sit down with
show
Charlie Kirk.
and have him just
Yeah.
roast me to my face.
He had his arms crossed the whole time. Charlie Kirk had his arms crossed the whole time. The entire time.
It's like, is this for real?
So
He had like the
combative.
clips I saw, the look on Charlie Kirk's face is like, is this for real? Like,
Yeah. Are you fucking kidding me right now? Yeah. Yeah. Gavin was
is he
wearing
gonna
the
like take his
worst.
mask off and it's gonna be Ben Shapiro?
Yeah. And he's got like something in
Gotcha,
his jowl.
gotcha.
Like I couldn't tell if it was like a chew pack or if
Who?
that's just like Gavin.
Oh,
You don't
earpiece.
really see like a
No, he's
devil
doing Zen
moving like
now.
that.
He's a
Okay,
bro.
that's
He's a
what I was
dude,
wondering.
bro. He's doing
That's what
Zen
I was
now.
wondering if it was a Zen pack.
Like he's the next one he's gonna be dipping,
Do you put Zen in
drinking.
the side or do you put it like in the front?
I
In
think
the
in the
side?
side. I think
Yeah. He's got a
that's where you
big, like
start
a
dipping.
big thing in the side.
Yeah.
So maybe he's got
Yeah.
maybe
Next
he's
one he's
got the
gonna be like
measles.
dipping and like have like natty lights for his guests.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, yeah, what's
Oh.
up, dude, bro? And like just fist bumping.
Get Theo Von on.
You
Yeah.
see? Well, he might have Theo Vaughn on because that'll be part of the whole like scheme is like, oh, look how regular I am now.
I'm just like you guys.
Oh my
Not
Oh my
really.
gosh.
God. I fucking hate
It's
him.
so disgusting.
It's
It's so
so
dis
gross.
yeah, it really is.
But have
Well,
you seen the
it wouldn't
Democrats' little thing
be
that
if he
they
was
did? They
good.
doing the fight. They're like
Oh yeah,
fighting,
yeah.
Oh,
and
that
then
was
the black lady did the squabble up song.
I
I
mean, because
can't.
I'll admit that like a lot of Trump's antics are kind of also like if Trump
The
wasn't like
YMCA,
kick,
that's fucking wholesome.
but if Trump wasn't kicking at like if he wasn't like on a roll and like winning, like you'd be like this stuff is ridiculous. Like a lot of these antics are ridiculous, but it's like but
hmm
it's not because he's winning. But like Newsom, like these things, it's like it's ridiculous because you're also losing and you're just
And Steve
oh
Irwin
man.
wants his shirt back, motherfucker.
All right.
Can we pull it up? All right.
Can we?
What else?
Give me a second.
Did you see the politicians all doing with the close microphone? Like the 22 politicians, they are all saying the exact
Yeah, they
same.
said yeah, I saw that whole thing
It started
happen
with
and it was
two.
so obvious. It was so obvious that like it was coordinated and they were gonna find out who did it and it was like so embarrassing. It all happened in, like even a half day. Like it wasn't,
Yeah.
it was like a
And then it
half
was
day news
gone.
cycle that they just
Yeah.
because they were like, well, this we're like they were like we're gonna humiliate ourselves in another way this afternoon. That
I
was this
loved what you
morning.
said about the paddles. I laughed so hard about what you said about the
Oh yeah,
paddles.
yeah. Yeah. I mean, they literally held up, they all held up little circles, black, solid black circles. You know what I mean?
Oh, what
Like
they said,
see this
Musk
thing,
Fields
like
or whatever.
you could just pull up that picture. You could just do like you could just have your like the photo, like you don't even have to have Photoshop or anything. You just have like the pictures app on your iPhone and put white
hmm
text on that. And they just made a template for everybody to just call them retards and stupid and ugly and stank, like
Stinky
forever,
boxes. I felt like pushing
forever, forever.
That was the true plan. That was the actual objective right there.
the
They just
memes that,
can't think. It's like that is so,
gosh
like
dang it.
I say it all the time because it's like I deal with like a 13-year old, I deal with like 7, 8, like almost 8-year olds that they just want what they want. They're mad about what they are mad about right now, and they do not
Yeah.
care about logic. They don't care about how ridiculous it looks or like how embarrassing this is going to be in, an hour.
Yeah.
Like an hour from now, this is going to be humiliating to like think that you did this, that you threw yourself down on the floor and fucking like,
All of that
kiss
be damned. I do
things.
not care. I'm in my emotions.
Like there's just
So
no, oh
true.
man.
So true.
I mean, I would like to do that I mean, I would love to lash out all the time, like literally
Yeah.
all the time. Like stop
Yeah.
on the side, like stop people in traffic and just get out of my car and lash out. But I
Yeah.
don't,
No.
because it's like it would feel good at that moment, but
Yeah.
somebody
The
would be recording me.
consequences.
It would be very humiliating
Yeah.
later. Very bad.
Right.
But no,
No
they just
thoughts
can't help
given.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they can't help it.
They just keep pushing through. Pocahontas and all of her people just keep pushing through.
And then at the same time, it's like to even get even more like weird is that then at some point in the future, people are going to be like, what was Photoshop? They weren't even holding up the signs. Like they were just sitting there.
You're right.
Because
That's the problem.
people will be like, did people Photoshop the sign, like the paddle and the I'm
Yes.
retarded, text on
Yeah.
there.
Oh yeah. That's the I believe that that's the cover for everything. Eventually that'll be it. That's they were talking about that in that interview, like the things that happened in real time that like Google got rid of. I will never forget that. What is it? Wayfair, the Wayfair scandal. Like that shit happened in real time. They got rid of those kids' names that were on their packages that were being sold for thousands of
Oh
dollars. It was
yeah,
just
yeah.
like it in real time, those things went away.
hmm
And there was another one, there was a Google search of it was 3 words. It was like television, TV, some other word, but you had to like say it exactly. And if you said it exactly, if you typed it in exactly, like all of this horrible stuff came up, like little tiny girls dressed scantily clad. And I saw it like in the morning and I was like, I can't believe this is really happening. Like this is real on Google. And then Bill got home at what, 7, 8 o'clock, and I was like, you're not gonna believe what I saw today. And I put in those words and it was gone. It was completely, it was all gone. Like they just got rid of it. So
The one
Yeah,
fucked
I
up.
think
It's just
it's
like
like
we
it
got to
just
clean
went
it
to
up.
the, yeah, it's like this is supposed to go in the dark web.
yeah,
Hmm.
This is
yeah.
supposed to go in the dark web Google.
But it's not like I think that there are real, like it's on Facebook too. Like all that stuff really does exist and they just can make it.
Well, yeah, there's definitely like I mean, there's sickos out there, so there's a
Yeah,
market for it, and there's always gonna be rich and powerful. I forget what show I was listening to this week where they were basically saying like this it's like people didn't like stop wearing togas, start
right.
wearing like pants with zippers, and then they like stopped with the fucking weird kid stuff. Like, no, they didn't.
Hmm.
Like they just
We're
like
going back to togas. Is that what you're saying? I
yeah,
mean,
like the well, because that's where we were,
Always back
like
to
we
togas.
think we
full
think like,
access.
oh, back those Greeks and like those weirdos did all that stuff. But then
Yeah,
they like obviously, but then but all humanity stopped doing that
right.
Hmm.
all of a
No,
sudden for some everybody realized it was wrong or something.
right.
Like, no, no, they just kind of changed outfits.
Yeah.
And there's always been that, and
Now
it's always
they're
probably been like it's probably always been. I guess at certain points it's open, but then it's probably always been used as like a
blackmail.
blackmail type thing and just kind of a power thing,
Yeah.
Hmm.
where everybody's a willing participant. So it's not like there's like power players and then a bunch of people that got tricked into doing
Yeah.
something. It's like no, they're all like kind of they're all cool, like they're all kind of down with the system.
Yeah.
But it's always been that way. I guess it was Joe Rogan. Maybe it was Joe Rogan talking to someone about it.
Yeah. The Ian Carroll guy.
Yeah, okay, that was probably it.
Yeah. It was
Um,
a very interesting episode. Very, I mean, a
so it
lot of
would only
stuff was
make
like,
sense, like, so to some, it's like, like to you, you'll bring it up and it's like a conspiracy theory that it's on Google and it's like, and to me, it's like, it just makes sense because like,
you're right.
if there's a market for something, then there are going to be
Exist.
certain elements in that market that are going to try to use the convenience of the regular internet
Yeah.
because they're not. But then there's others that are going to have this sophistication of the dark web or like some kind of like secret Discord channel with code,
Yeah.
whatever, like just
Right.
whatever the mind can think of, or like a community, like an app. Uh, like you'd think that like if you're like you would just there's like social media apps like for like Japanese people only. So
Right.
if you're like a Dutch weirdo, you would use that.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
It's
Yeah.
like there's like you would yeah, there's a market, so there's going to be people that are going to use whatever's out
I
there. So
remember
I don't really
saying,
doubt that it's happening. Like I don't know like when I see something it's like is that proof it is happening? I don't know, but it's like I don't not believe it's happening because like
I
that's a
guess
human
that's
thing.
progress because I mean, when you would talk about these things 4 or 5 years ago, people would say, that's just not real. That's just not real. It's not happening. They're not trafficking children. They're not trafficking women. And I think that more and
Yeah.
more people are, it's like, okay, well, maybe it is happening. Maybe that is the real
I
thing.
think
Maybe
it's
there
like
are
it's a mix of I
children.
think that humans like innately know like there's a dark side of this.
Right.
Maybe not in my suburbs, but I've been around long enough. I've seen National Geographic. I've seen like war torn areas in other parts of the world with people that don't look like me do just horrific things to each other. So it's like, but it's a mixture of like not wanting to believe it and also like if I did believe it, what do I do with that
Yeah.
information? Like
Am I
do with
gonna
it,
join the Operation Railroad or whatever it is? Yeah,
or am I just gonna be depressed about it? Like fucking
sure.
because like what can you really do about it?
Well, you got to
Because
protect your own
if
children
you're
first and
yeah,
foremost.
that's
I mean,
for
that's
sure. It's like
the bottom line. Safe words for your kids, all the stuff, you know?
if you're like
Mm,
40 and you're a homemaker or something like that, or you're a salesman, it's like, you really can't, I guess you can, but changing careers to ICE, like,
Well,
or to like the FBI's anti-trafficking operation is like probably
there's
not,
gotta be something
but you know what I mean? Like,
you can do besides joining.
well, no, because there really isn't,
Sure.
because it's like, there's a freaking million charities out there that are going to save the kids.
mhm.
Yeah,
Right. So it's like you can throw your money out there in the wind
sure.
to one, throw something in a dartboard and like hit a charity you're going to donate to that's supposedly going to,
You already have 3 kids, you could foster one.
yeah. Uh,
What do you want to
yeah, I
though is the
should,
real
yeah, I
question.
should, yeah, I got a lot of things to
Your
tell
kids.
young, impressionable kids about how things should go.
Actually, you know, you're starting an army, a militia.
You never
Yeah,
know.
bunch of little black foster kids.
It's
Making a militant.
one more angle covered.
Yeah,
We've talked about that a little bit, but it's like, it's just kind of kicked it around. Like, would that be interesting?
Mhm.
Like a, what do you, exchange student, something like that.
yeah,
Where
I'm
from?
like, I'm not, what if I get a bad one? It's like, I'm not really to take that risk.
yeah, yeah. I remember when the
Where
Ukraine
from? I
stuff
have
first
no
started
idea.
happening, was a lot of people like, I have a Ukrainian family and we need some like in my next door, my Roseville free group or whatever.
Right.
We're taking in our Ukrainian family and they have a baby. Does anybody have a crib? Or it's like, wow, I mean, that's a lot. I struggle like, oh, you're gonna spend the night? Okay. Having just
Ukraine
company
is
sleep over.
such a terrible situation,
Yeah.
because
But
it's
to
like
take in a
there's
whole
some,
family, like people are really
yeah,
generous. Bless their hearts.
yeah, that's true. Um, that is definitely more than standing with Ukraine. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Yeah.
It's definitely more
Exactly.
than putting a flag up.
Yep.
Uh, I don't know. I feel like a lot of Ukrainians didn't come here, but a lot of Ukrainians fled their country when the war broke out. Like man, I sometimes I look these numbers up but then I forget, like 8 million, maybe
Wow.
more.
Yeah.
Um, but a lot just were like, I'm out. Poland, like all the countries around there took in a lot. I think Poland took in like 2 million.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Um, but all over Europe too. I don't know that we got that many, because we don't import white people anymore.
There's a lot here. We have a
But
lot
like
here.
the white people, yeah. No,
No, a
Ukraine.
lot.
I think
Yeah.
we got Ukraine. We had Ukrainians naturally, because like there's been like Ukrainian population in New York City for
Yeah. I told you,
forever.
Bill, I used to
So
work for Russians, and then when the war broke
yeah,
out, they became Ukrainian. Yeah.
yeah. I think it's hard for Americans to understand that region too. I mean, even myself, just like that, like we just like. I mean, we grew up in America. I don't know, like Manny is like, he's a man of many countries. He's an international man of mystery
Yeah.
Two countries,
and
baby.
Hello.
Let's go.
he's an international man of known facts.
Yeah.
But like
It's quite the
for the most
responsibility.
Americans, like I grew up thinking like there's just countries are what they are. The map is what it is. Like people printed all these maps and they made these globes for
Yeah.
classrooms. Like you can't just change these things. Like
Yeah.
these
What are we gonna
borders
do
are
about the
like,
Gulf of America? We got to make a million new globes. Oh, thanks, landfills.
I
Landfills
mean,
full of globes now.
maybe,
Now look,
maybe
with
they'll
the
have like
advent
an
of
upgrade kit, like a little
uh,
sticker.
Yeah. Send every
yeah.
classroom in the whole United States.
Plus, let's be honest, we all know that globe
You know
sales
what?
have plummeted as years have progressed.
I
So,
don't think he thought this all the way through. There's a lot of globes sitting on a lot of desks that are not going to be able to be changed. What about those globes that are made out of like abalone? I
uh,
mean, how are you gonna change that?
Oh yeah, that have like the relief, whatever you call that, like yeah.
Oh,
I think you call that relief, or whatever you that
oh, the
abalone, or
metal
they
thing
just,
that you're
no,
talking
no, like the globes that are not just round, but they also have like the elevation.
oh, okay.
You
I
lost
like
think
me. I'm not
the
smart enough.
elevation, like the ridges and the mountains and all that stuff, like a really
Gotcha.
like a nice globe.
Yeah,
Not
this
the
is
yeah, yeah.
not a
That's
globe you get at Walmart or Target, you know.
no, I was talking about the ones made out of abalone shell, like their shell, and they have gold,
It's
like on a
classy.
nice, on a lawyer's desk sometimes a little
I
bit.
know, like if you're well, that's why like, the the deep state, the establishment, they're just like they've got so much money invested in these globes and these
Just,
we just uncovered the big globe conspiracy, everybody. You're
they're just like
welcome.
we cannot have like
you know
again
what?
like in the
They're gonna
90s
break
they
the flat
spent
Earth, and globes are just gonna
yeah.
be. It's gonna be landfills full of globes.
Like you don't understand these elites. You don't understand their pain, Quana, because in the 90s when Yugoslavia fell apart and all those different like weird named countries started pop like happened instead, like it replaced Yugoslavia.
Yeah.
Like the elites, they had to spend so much money on their what did you call it? Abalone?
Yeah. The abalone the
What's an
models.
abalone globe, you
Yeah,
guys?
the abalone globe.
No, they make them.
Abalone go.
I'm not making it up. Manny,
You
pull
know,
up an abalone globe.
it's funny that you
Manny,
were. Hold
I
on, no,
don't
no,
know
no,
how to.
no,
Manny, don't even
no,
type that in. I'm just
no.
kidding.
But it's funny that we're
Ab-
talking about globes because the house that I'm house sitting right now, they actually have a really nice globe sitting in the corner. It's
Go
really
get it.
it's really heavy. I
It's
can't
made out
move
of
it.
abalone. I
They
bet
don't
it's
even
made out
need
of
it. They don't
shell.
even, you should just take it because they don't even need it anymore. It's not accurate.
I can't take care of this thing. It's fucking heavy. I need a dolly to move it.
It's vintage now.
I'll show you. I'll send you guys a video of this thing later in the group chat. It's fucking
Yeah.
crazy. Yeah, the
You know what?
detail on this
You
Are
thing.
need
you
to get a
talking
little piece of
about
duct tape. Get a little piece of duct tape and write America, and then put it over the Gulf of Mexico. Just fix it for 'em. You obviously can't do it with abalone, but
a lot of the lefties are like making fun of it and like they're like coming up with names for the Gulf of Totino's, breakfast burritos and
Yeah,
whatever. And I was
yeah.
like, I mean, maybe we should have sold naming rights to it. You know what I mean? Like
We gotta generate revenue somehow, right? I
Gulf
hear.
of Exxon or Gulf of whatever it is. Kroger, Gulf of
Mhm.
Kroger, Gulf of whatever big companies out there, McDonald's. Sell
Mhm.
it, you know, sell it off, sell it. Don't care.
I would have. It would have been interesting to see which company stepped up to make the purchase to bid on it.
I think our landfills are going to be full of globes. I'm just predicting that.
Mm,
Mm.
we'll keep an eye out. We'll keep an eye out to see how what
Sell it to
developments happen.
cereals like Fruit Loops, Sugar Smacks.
Mhm.
Oh, those are so good.
They still make
I haven't,
Sugar Smacks. I don't even
I haven't
know.
had cereal in so many years. In like 100 years, I haven't had cereal.
You know what cereal I used to love was like can't remember the name, but they it was in that era, that Sugar Smacks era, but they were like gold nuggets.
Oh, I think it
Oh
was a
man,
golden grams. No, golden
nah, gold grams, but I don't know.
something or other.
Yeah,
Honeycombs?
No.
not honeycombs. It's okay. We'll figure it out later.
Yeah,
Yeah.
on the cereal based episode.
Would be great.
Hey, speaking about podcast bros and whatnot, did you hear about what is it? Bill Maher was on Pod Save America and he got fed up with the host. He was like, I'm leaving now. Like he
No.
and the host was kind of like taken aback, like, what? Like
Did Bill Maher
leave?
throw a bitch fit? Surprising.
Because they were arguing about trans people in I think sports or the whole just the whole trans argument. It
I could
was
see
oh
I could
because of
see how that could happen. I don't
hmm
listen to those guys, but I know what they're all about. But I could see
hmm
how that would happen because they are they're like Obama bros, right? Like
hmm
they're
Yeah.
very entrenched in their like they're still back in like, 2014 where Obama was running the show
Have you
and
seen the
like
new argument for the trans in sports? Now they're so dismissive. They're like, it's only like 10 people. Why do you care? Like, motherfucker, if it's only 10 people, why the fuck do you care?
well
Honestly, like,
it used to be. You know what? It used to be. It used to be, but they made us care.
hmm
Like this is what sucks. This is what really sucks because so a couple weeks ago, I was at my son's first track meet, and there
Shots,
was a
shark
girl.
killer.
There was a yeah. There's a girls race, right? And there was a girl coming down like, and it was like for fourth or fifth place. Maybe it was a
Hmm.
long race, but there was a girl coming down the home stretch there to the finish line, and it was like me and a couple of the dads were like, "Is that a is that a dude?" Just it's just kind of like it's
Because
really
some
hard
girls
to
are big.
tell.
Some girls are big.
But this was not. It was just this girl looked to be a very effeminate dude
Hmm.
Okay.
in like the seventh grade.
Uh-huh.
Okay. I don't really mind in America where kind of like an effeminate seventh grade dude runs in a race where there's really like no limits of how many people can run in the race. So the fact that the
Right.
kid finishes last or whatever, or maybe beats a couple other girls that are just
Right.
like who don't really care either. Like that's not really like we all looked at each other like, okay, but none of us were going to be like, I need to go fucking talk to somebody. Like
Right.
Donald Trump said this, like they get
Sure.
it was like yeah, but like obviously like this is not a dude in 11th grade that's just like ripped.
Hmm.
So it
Right.
was like no one cared, and it's like I'm
Yeah.
okay with that. Like no one would care about that,
Sure.
and it was good, and like none of the girls cared,
That was always
right?
kind of my point,
And it
though,
was
and I
like,
always said
and it
that
was
it was
like,
that the
yeah,
media was trying to make us hate trans people, and now they flipped it. Like it's only like 10 people. Like, why do you even care? They made us care about it. They made it like it was so much bigger, and that's why I was kept telling people, no, it's just the media
well,
trying to make it this big deal.
I think that what happened was, I think you're partially right, maybe all right, but like what happened in between though was like a bunch of fucking asshole dudes were like, I'm not really good at swimming
Right.
against my boys,
Yeah.
but I feel a little feminine. So, I feel a little confused about my sexuality. So now I'm a girl and now I'm going to compete against girls, but like you're kind of past the point of like you're just physically different and that's not right. But so
No,
like
a
there was
million
like a
percent.
class of them where they were like just took it. It's a slippery slope. I mean,
Hmm.
it's
Yeah.
just like, everybody, it's a human condition that people just take it a little bit. Someone takes it to a good level, and then someone takes it too far, and it kind of f's it up for a lot of other people. But
Yes.
it seems like there was a pretty prolonged period of a lot of people taking it way too far and going
It
into like Planet Fitness, women's locker rooms and whipping their
if you
junk
add
out.
them all up, it's probably less than 20 people, including the people that went into the things. It was them trying to push this agenda like we are also racist against this cause. And
Hmm.
now that it's been flipped, they're saying, why are you making it a big deal? It's only 10 people.
Yeah, I
That's what
think
we
it's
were saying the
yeah,
whole time.
I think it's more than that. I think it was more than that number but like yeah, but your point is you're good. That's a good point. Like it wasn't a huge number, but yeah, and that's where the media came in and was just like,
But they made it like everyone had to have it in their school and everybody wanted it and
right, and
everybody was
if you
for
didn't,
it. And if you
if
didn't
you
like it, you were racist or whatever
yeah,
the
yeah.
fuck you are. But then now it's like,
That's
it's like,
because the
why are you making it a
groups,
big
because the
deal?
organizations, like the organizations that are full of crazy people that have nothing better to do, they're not even doing like they're not even like pretending to be a different sex and competing in sports. They don't even have that. They're not even training for a sport. They got nothing better to do than to just make trouble and like
Because I
pressure
think the majority of the
media.
dads are going to be like you. They're going to be like, okay, what's this? Whatever. You know what I mean? Like that would
Yeah, I
be the
think it
majority
just
of the things.
it just gets to where, but then when like a 6'3" dude shows up at an NCAA women's championship, that's where it's like,
Fucking
whoa.
wild.
Or like, yeah, yeah, one of my girls just started volleyball this week, and it's like, I would really, she's a long ways away from high school volleyball, but I would really like to know for sure that all the time we're going to invest in this is not going to be like, you know, James, don't, smashing the ball in her face, like
Yeah. No, Kylie
because
had
we've
a
gone the
couple.
full other way, because we've gone like crazy full other way to where it's like we're just
Yeah.
gonna pretend like there's no differences and
Well, I mean, soccer injuries were something that we dealt with. Kylie played soccer from like little kid till all the way through high school.
Hmm.
And there were a lot of girls that were bigger and there were injuries that were made. I couldn't imagine when she played goalie having somebody with a stronger kick, because he's
Hmm.
male kicking at my daughter's face, basically. I couldn't imagine that. I would have been,
yeah, it's not even about like there's some like specific physiological difference in like the like fast twitch muscles or something like that that just kind of like let men like their muscles not only they're stronger because it's not always just about strength, but it's just they fire
right?
off a little bit quicker, like more like violently kind of thing. I mean, you've seen the things where the women's national team plays um,
Yeah, sure.
like old guys, or they play like
Yeah,
like a JV high school team, and they lose because the dudes are just quicker. That is
yeah.
just quicker. I think quicker is the best
They
word
do get
for it.
hurt a little more often. They like fall down and than the girls
Oh,
do.
that's true. Yeah. Yeah, that's a very strange thing in soccer, especially in like European and like
Yeah,
soccer coming out of the Latin world is like faking getting hurt. That
yeah,
was that was very strange to me as like a kind of growing up in like suburban white America was like,
yeah.
Hmm.
The boys team do it way more than the
where
girls.
I
It's
was just like,
weird.
where'd the pride go? Like,
Yeah.
like,
The
where'd the
girls and
whole
like
like,
Adam Carolla says, the girls are a little bit more like aggressive than the boys. The boys are like they will fake the injury or whatever. The girls are too like
The pride lies in
mad. They're
selling
mad.
the injury. That's where the pride lies.
okay. I was like, yeah,
There you
okay.
go. Okay, good. Did you play soccer as a kid, Manny?
Fuck no, I hated soccer.
Okay.
That was my sport that I played from. I don't even remember like when it started to like forever, and it was almost year round. So,
Mhm. I was more into hockey, but that shit was way too expensive. My parents were like, nah, sorry, son, we love you, but we can't afford this.
oh yeah, I think
Mhm.
I think my son, like one of my son's friends, invited him to like a hockey themed birthday party at like a
They're like,
local
no.
skating rink, and you just look at all his equipment, and he's like, "Dad, look, there's a flyer on the wall about hockey." I'm like, nah, it's like it's for,
Too cold
it's, yeah, it's like,
for
nah,
Canadian commies.
we got it's a schedule conflict, you know. You got space camp or something, something. Like, oh, it's dinner time. It's sorry, yeah, it's practice is always
We're
dinner
going to
time.
McDonald's. Let's go. Come on, get in the car.
Yeah, like
We're leaving.
you want
We
some
got hockey
Legos?
tryouts at home, kid. Let's go.
That is a commitment. Yeah, that's a lot of stuff. I
Yeah,
think
Yeah.
even
so.
even tackle football, because like at first you're playing your kids playing flag at like 5, 6, 7, whatever, and then it's like $80 a year for the season. Then you get into flat, and then you get into tackle football, and it's like, well, it's now you're looking at like 400 or $500 for all the equipment. It's
Mhm.
like, well, let's play flag one more year.
Yeah. I remember the cleats when she got into high school, like $180 cleats. Like,
Good Lord.
my Lord.
Yeah, my son's going through shoes like crazy. Yeah, yeah. He got the specialty track shoes,
Hmm.
Yeah.
of course, that
I
you can't
mean,
be worn anywhere else. So they got the little
oh,
metal spikes on them, but
yep.
he's good. He won. Like I showed you guys some videos. He won a
Wow.
couple.
Hmm.
So
He won
fast.
his last meet. He won the 110-meter hurdles.
Very
That
cool.
was pretty cool. Yeah, it was wild to watch. So,
Exciting.
but yeah, he's got all those shoes. Now they had to get new soccer cleats just
Yeah.
yesterday
Hmm.
for tryouts for soccer this fall. Yeah,
Yeah.
spring.
Yeah. And girls soccer. Oh, can we get the ones that, oh, the muscular ones, this one, that one?
Yeah,
It's like
yeah.
your
They got
feet
new
have not grown
spikes
from
and
last year, but yeah. Nope. Gotta
shin
get the new one.
guards. Yeah, my girls are playing soccer too.
Oh yeah. Well, good luck
They're
with
playing
that.
soccer and cheer and volleyball.
I
So
love how hard Texas goes with sports. It's good for kids.
Yeah, it is kind of cool out there. I don't remember that any of this track stuff going on when I was in middle school in
Yeah, middle school sports didn't
Perry Hall,
really, they
Maryland.
don't exist out here really, unless you pay for it. Like,
I remember there being like tracks and fields at the high school, but not at the middle schools.
yeah,
Um, yeah,
the football kids do track off season for to train for football
yeah.
here.
Makes sense.
I don't know if
I just I think a lot of it has to do with the weather.
Hmm.
yeah,
Like I think that they just don't try to do certain things in northern areas during the winter times. Like you just don't even do it. But in
Hmm.
Texas, Florida, of course, California, like you can be playing
yeah,
football year round outside and training and getting
yeah.
better. So, what else happened this week?
Well, since we're talking about children, what's up with Hunter Biden? I thought he was loaded. Why would he have trouble with his legal case
Oh
or
Oh,
man,
his legal woes? I thought he
he
was
said that
loaded.
he said that the
The
sales of
man's
his
loaded.
weed have gone down since his dad's not in office.
Mm,
shocking, shocking.
mm, mm.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really care. I mean, actually, I do care. I I do care, and I'm happy about it. But like the
Right.
Bidens could be kind of like I don't. Well, I'm sure there's a bunch of underworld pieces of garbage that are going to take care of them. But it's like
Hmm.
Netflix isn't coming along to be like, "Hey, Joe Biden and Jill Biden, we would like to offer you a Obama type deal.
Right.
Here,
Yeah.
here's a $50 million retainer, to like so you do
Oh my
like,
God.
10 different and you produce 10 different shows for us and
Hmm.
do
Can you imagine
interviews.
a Jill Biden like at home show? Like
Hmm.
She's
showing
gonna
her
be Jill
thinking,
Biden like teaching at the community college.
Dr. Jill.
Doc,
Oh man.
Dr. Jill, medicine woman. But like nobody is interested in doing any business with them whatsoever. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
no publishing house is gonna be like, we want Joe to write his autobiography. Like, are you kidding me? Like,
Yeah.
Like he's gonna write in crayon. It's gonna be 4 pages. Be like a picture of a house and a dog and a fence, like a
Joe.
tree, tree. But yeah, like there's none of that. Like the economy of it, because normally
Yeah.
you leave the president, it's like you're like they're just throwing money at you for
Well,
writing a
they packed
book.
their millions in before they left, I think. So they're probably fine. They'll probably be fine.
Uh, they better have, but I mean, at the same time, they would have been operating in like extreme carefulness for the last 4 years. Like we'll see.
Were they? I mean, they were working on I don't know.
Well, I'm just saying they're not going to have like a sprawling estate in Hawaii like the Obamas. They're not going to have I don't. I mean, is there even going to be a Joe Biden presidential library? Like Obama's building some gigantic
They
freaking.
canceled it. They canceled the Obama, whatever the
No,
library
well,
was.
no,
Or
they canceled like that was another one of those stories where they canceled a lease space for
Mm,
his presidential library archives where they're storing a lot of stuff because they're about
okay.
to move it all to the where they're building his. I guess a presidential library is technically like a private thing.
so is it their private collection that they've amassed throughout their life that they store there, or
I
how?
really don't. I don't know. I think it's like a bunch of government records and crap. Like
Mm-hmm.
all the stuff that the government does and all the stuff that they do there and they sign and they print out and all that. I guess they just like and it's bound in like leather. I guess they also like put that on a shelf somewhere and now like
Hmm.
and then it's like,
Interesting.
well, you can't. And then it's like you can't throw that stuff out.
Right.
All these executive orders that Trump signed, he's like signed like hundreds of them. I don't know how
Yeah.
many, but it's
Gotta
He
like they're
watch,
walked
all
up
in.
don't
to the
try.
stage. He walked up to the stage and handed two to each
Yeah,
person that was. He's like, one for you, one for you. We'll get those
they're all
later.
like freaking 11 by 18 inches, and they're in like
Mhm.
finely bound like
Yeah.
Corinthian leather. They're in like
Hmm.
Yeah.
Corinthian leather port pad folios.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can't just
Just,
throw that out. You got to put it somewhere.
Right.
yeah. The guy that's
I
making those
mean,
is
Oh
rolling.
no, they'd
that's
be,
true.
they should be going in the
Yeah,
limestone mines.
that's true. Oh yeah, there you go. Put them down in
What
the
the
under.
fuck?
Put them in a cave.
Yep.
What in the actual fuck?
Well, I
My
mean,
Lord.
And I guess that didn't bother that story didn't bother me that much because it reminded me of an X-Files episode because I think they went down in those caves. But
Yeah.
Nice.
also there was a point in government's history where it's just like there wasn't a cloud.
Hmm.
There wasn't cloud storage.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There was digitization and scanning.
The
There
mine
was
was the
just
cloud.
like
There's
some
still no
yeah,
cloud in
yeah,
the
it was like
police
the cloud was the
force. There's
exact
like,
opposite.
yeah,
So it's
there's,
like at some point someone in the government was just like, "Oh my gosh, we got a lot of records that we're legally obligated to store. Like
Yeah.
if these records come into this place and we throw them away, like it's a crime. So we need a cave. Like empty out the cheese in the salt mines. Like we need a cave.
you can
And
definitely
it's like
store
a
those records with cheese. I mean,
yeah, they might as well
right.
double up. Like have
Yeah.
like the cheese on one side, grow some mushrooms down there, keep all the X files.
Microgreens. I've heard microgreens are real good.
Yeah,
Profit
dude,
center.
definitely.
But so like I thought that part didn't like that was kind of sensational. It's like, oh my God, there's a cave. Like you're keeping records in a cave. It's like, yeah, man, like the cloud didn't exist 10 years ago, you fuckers. Like quit. Like
Stop acting so surprised.
Yeah,
and
you're
also
fucking
like,
Starlink, bro. Yeah, it's
is it
like, you know
also
how you have that one friend
like
that does all the computer stuff and they act like everything that they do is better.
Mm.
Yeah,
I
that's
also
Elon
like the
right now.
rush. Like
Mhm.
if I was like an evil mastermind that wanted to like really screw with history and humanity, it's like I would be like, you guys should digitize everything.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are you
Yeah.
stupid? Putting paper in a cave? Like you
Get
just
with the
digitize.
times.
Yeah, man, come on, bro.
Yeah.
Like digitize it, put it up in the cloud, man. And then
Next
just
thing you
then it's like,
know.
oh wow, what a
See,
great
that's the
idea. We
fucked up
saved
part
so
about the
much money.
cloud. The cloud isn't up. The cloud is in the ocean under the
Yeah.
ocean. And we
Well, another
always
thing
say
about the
up in the
clouds,
cloud. Like they want the cloud to be confusing.
yeah. Another thing about the clouds is just more expensive.
Hmm.
Yeah.
It's like we're just gonna because I deal with some of that stuff and like software licenses going from old school legacy license structures to cloud and subscriptions and it's
Yeah,
like
the license used to
basically
be
it's
like in
like
the package, right?
yeah,
Yep.
everything you everything seems like cheaper up front, but then it's like you're paying that subscription every year forever.
Hmm.
As long as you want need the product, and it doesn't really, it's not, well, they don't have to have servers and server farms, so I think it'll probably be a time where people figure out like it's a lot cheaper for me to just to buy servers and not have stuff in the cloud.
Yeah.
Because at some
Yeah.
point when you don't have any servers on premise, like Amazon's going to be like, oh, we can just charge you whatever we want now,
Hmm.
Yeah. God, those
or
things are
not
big.
whatever we
I
want.
just rem yeah, those are big, right?
The
Servers, when
server
servers used to
farms,
be on premise,
Hmm.
when you used to have servers on premise for
yeah, I
business.
guess they're smaller,
Yeah.
but they're expensive. So I mean, the same companies that are selling you the servers are also selling you the cloud space. So it's like
Yeah.
they're, but I'm kind of like like you should still have some records printed out and stored in a cave, right?
Hmm.
Like it's kind of like, would you really put all your baby photos like of your kids
But
in
now they're
cloud, like
saying
scan
like
them,
for
put them
all
in a
the
cloud, and throw them away?
fires, Bethany was saying like you
It's a
should
good
really have
backup, sure.
everything digitized,
It's a
just
good
in
backup, yeah.
case you lose everything in the instant you can just leave.
Well, but for the government, it's like so. Then now you're gonna have to like have a $1 billion contract with AWS to have cloud space to store all the digitized records of all the stuff
Yeah.
and have the cave
Yeah.
and still maintain the cave with all the printed records and everything. It's like
And why aren't we feeding the people with the cheese? Like why
it's not ready yet. Come on.
I I've used a block of cheese this week. Like you know what I mean? Like pass it out.
Yeah.
That cheese to
Yeah,
the people.
they talk about all the sugar America eats, but what about the cheese? You know, let's get some cheese numbers up because they're always trying to like. I know it's not the same thing, right? But it's like they're always throwing like the average American eats like like consumes, you know, 87 pounds of cheese every year. I'm sorry, 87 pounds of sugar every year. It's like
Right.
I want to know about my cheese intake because I'm
Definitely more than that for me, I think,
I
for
hope so.
sure.
You know,
Yeah, for sure. 1,000,000%. Ugh.
but what if it's not? Also, what if it's not? What if like your sugar to cheese intake is way off and it's like,
Oh, my sugar's way down. I only do the
oh yeah, that's
only
true.
sugar
Yeah,
that I
yeah, I
have is
figured
in the
that.
morning in my coffee. That's it. I have sugar in my coffee and that's it. But through the day, nothing.
I don't really avoid it, but I just don't really consume a lot of, I mean, other than like
Beer.
light beers, basically. I don't really consume a lot of
Oh,
anything.
things that turn into sugar, that's a
But
different
that, yeah,
story.
but like, drinking a
But
light
I'm talking
beer is
about like
basically,
actual sugar because I don't want it on my teeth, basically. So I don't like consume it because I don't want it on my teeth.
but yeah, if you're drinking like red wine or certain
No.
liquors or natty lights, you're drinking sugar.
Yeah. Yeah. Champagne. Yes. Cheers. Happy Friday.
Uh, for the kids, for the kids, Manny.
To the
Yeah.
kids.
Happy Friday, kids. Oh man.
What's
So
planned for the weekend?
Trump knocked out of the park. I guess we've already talked.
Literally
Well,
with
I
the
mean, we really
backhand
haven't
to
talked about
Serena
that.
Williams. Did you see that?
I'm sorry, what? No.
Was that recent? Did that just happen, or was that an
Yes.
old something?
He kicked off, I don't know. He kicked off his shoes and literally just whacked it to
I
her.
think that video that might have happened like during his first presidency, maybe. I don't know, but yeah, that's cool. That was cool. That was funny.
I
Oh,
love him.
But the
I
State of
wish.
Union was good.
Yeah, it
Uh-huh.
was.
I mean,
I mean,
I thought
it
it was
made me,
very aggressive. I
yeah,
like it.
okay.
I like it. We'll see how it works out. Um, I
I was
think
disappointed in the left. I was real
The
disappointed.
Democrats, they were so their response was so lame that even if the president did kind of get overly aggressive, even or like kind of get a little bit too whatever, um,
Yeah,
they couldn't. They had no grounds to stand on because they were like
sure.
like having a temper tantrum on the floor. It's like like maybe your
Yeah,
parents are yelling at you a little bit too much and maybe but it's like the fact that you're throwing a temper tantrum and throwing all your toys in the hallway is like
it was a
yeah
lot. It was a lot.
you're losing this you're gonna lose this scene
Hmm.
Yeah.
so
I think the PBD podcast, they were saying that like oh my God, I'm sorry, I just completely lost what I was gonna say.
the
About
PBD
PBD.
podcast and the Trump I didn't know if they had a podcast after the Trump
They were talking about how the Dems like their people aren't that their people the people that are into that like they love to see the guy get kicked out and they loved to see
yeah that's
them not
true
I mean the people that love that they
that's
love it
true
like they applaud that behavior.
that's true yeah when Obama was president and the guy was like liar or whatever I mean I didn't hate the guy, but I was like, man, it's like
Yeah,
I'm not gonna send money to your defense fund.
yeah,
Like if you get in trouble for that, like you're gonna get it. Like I'm not that's not really something that
well
like
this
that because
absolute
again, that doesn't do anything it doesn't really do anything. Like you didn't
yeah,
stop anything Obama did by, having an outburst. But yeah, on the
right,
other side, I think they get off on a little bit more on that. Like they feel a little bit more seen or,
yeah,
whatever
like yeah, we're
because
not gonna like anything that he did and I'm glad that my people don't like
like
anything that he did and
yeah, it's
it's
like
ridiculous.
I'm gonna throw myself down and act the fool. And boy,
Yeah,
they're gonna and isn't that gonna show them? Like I don't think so.
it's it's ridiculous.
Look
It's
pretty
absolutely
bad.
ridiculous. Yeah. You can't even stand for a little kid that has cancer. I mean, oh, so sweet.
I mean that I
That's
the
what
Half
thing
at
matters.
is
least. A
like
little tiny baby.
I the everybody knows what Trump's doing, right? I mean, well, presidents do that. They bring in like the feel good stuff to be up in
Mhm.
those stands, but like everybody knew Trump
Right.
was doing it. It's like I know it sucks for you, for the Dems, for the left. I know it sucks, but like, and I know
Right.
everybody knows and I know you can like maybe Trump doesn't really care about that kid or what. But guess
Right.
what? But guess what? You lost. He is kind of running the show right now, and he's going to run a bunch of feel good stories in your face. And you
Right.
can commit to this whole thing where you're just not going to stand for anything, and like you'll feel like you really stood your ground and didn't stand for
Yeah.
anything. You didn't
Yeah.
s- you really standed your ground, but like uh but it's like that's not how like the math does. It's not how it is.
Mhm.
Was it a reporter that said the thing about I hope he doesn't, I hope his life doesn't end like the
Oh,
January
Nicole
6th.
Wallace. Nicole
Yeah.
Wallace, a Bush Republican. She was a Bush Republican. She said something to that effect. Yeah, she said she, she didn't really say like I hope he doesn't commit suicide, but
Yeah.
she went on this long whining thing where
Mhm.
like she was like, "Oh, I saw he was, you know, made an honorary police officer, an honorary this and like, oh, well, I hope he doesn't grow up to be, you know, a Capitol policeman guarding the Capitol when another
Yeah.
January 6th happens. And then after that, like a few days later, when he just feels depressed and kind of bummed out about stuff, like kills him. It's like that
I
was like a
thought that was
real,
interesting. It's
but it's even
dark.
sicker. It's sicker than like just saying
Yeah.
something like a comedian would make like a off the cuff callous joke. But like
Mhm.
her
Yeah.
thing was even sicker because she was like going on this winding road of like he's
Yes.
gonna have kids and a beautiful wife and a great wedding and he'll just
Right.
have
Mhm.
he'll just have
Yeah.
celebrated his you know 10th anniversary when another January 6th will happen and he will be
Yeah.
a it's like good God, lady.
Yeah. Interesting though, because a lot of people, like I've had people that, when I say things about January 6th or whatever, they're like, you don't care about the six police officers that were killed. I was like, that's not what happened. So it's interesting to hear her say that they actually committed suicide, that it
I
wasn't,
think yeah,
they
there's
were
going to be a
killed.
time. Yeah, there's going to be a time where instead of people being like, "Man, that's so terrible," like it was such a traumatic event that six people committed suicide to to the point maybe like 10 or maybe not even that long, where it's like, isn't that crazy that like six witnesses all killed themselves?
Yeah.
Isn't that wild? Like it's
And
going to kind of
nobody's
go
like,
from
wait,
that.
what?
Yeah.
Because right now it's like, oh my goodness, it was so like they're trying like that they were killed. It's like, well, they weren't
Mhm.
killed. They killed
Yeah.
themselves, and it's like, but well, because they were so traumatized, they were killed. It's
Yeah.
like soon it's
Hmm.
gonna be like, what did
It
they
should
know?
be. That should be the soon. It should be the math that
And
maths
it's gonna
up.
be like the one here's to three of the guards that killed themselves, and they were actually waving people in and giving high fives, and like
Yeah.
See you
they
tomorrow,
were,
Bob.
and then the way they killed themselves with their car, two of the three of
Yeah.
them, their car stalled on a train track.
Hmm.
Like,
Yeah.
Of
oh,
all
okay.
places.
Man,
Yeah.
that's
Double headshot wounds.
I know when I'm bummed out, I'm just like I'm gonna park on a train track.
Yeah.
Like,
The
but
worst.
yeah, I'm kind of it's
Yeah.
kind of dark humor, but it is like the way we look at these things over time, it can really
Yeah.
change.
Well, I mean, it's the way the news said it because a lot of people still believe that six police officers, my own family member said it to me. Oh, you don't care that six police officers died that day? Like, that's not what happened. Like, no, I won't. No, because it didn't happen. That didn't happen. So no, I don't. It's not
Can't
what
convince me
It
happened.
didn't
otherwise.
happen, and also like I mean I don't even want to like minimize what those guys do, but
Sure.
um, I feel like there's a big gap between Capitol policemen watching groups of tourists go through the Capitol or watching a TV monitor of the West Gate or something,
Right.
and then calling in, we got a box truck at the West Gate, like calling in like extra teams.
Right.
There's a big gap between that kind of police officer and like a New York City like
The ones that are on
squad,
the subway right now.
yeah, like I said, like you're like patrolling the subway and like
Yeah.
looking for people kicking people onto the tracks and stuff.
Yeah. Catching
I feel
women
like
on
there's a little bit
fire.
of a, and again, I don't want to minimize it, but it's like I think there's a
Sure.
different, like I know people that like like you can be a firefighter in New York City and you're going to these old ass buildings with who knows what kind of like tinfoil pipes,
Yeah.
and then like being a firefighter in like a North Texas
Down
suburb
the street from my house. Yeah. Where you're
where
just calling in on
like every house has like fire retardants, and where it's just different.
sprinklers.
It's like
Yeah.
you like there's like there are no buildings taller than 10 stories. Like there's no
Yeah.
even that, like there's no like there's towns there's no 2 stories but most
Um,
like
my neighbor across the street is an EMT and he does it in San Francisco. So he commutes to San Francisco for his shifts
Hmm.
because the pay is way more in San Francisco because it's harder job to be an EMT there.
it's riskier. I mean, just I'm just
Yeah.
saying like that's like I'm not trying to minimize like small town, but
No,
it's just like there's a chance you're gonna have to go like on a rickety
that's
set
why
of
the
fucking
National Guard was
burning
supposed to be
stairs.
there, right? That's
Hmm.
why the National Guard was supposed to be there because of that very reason. That's why it was approved days before. So, anyways, happy Friday, these motherfuckers.
You mean for January 6th, you mean?
Yeah, I do. That's exactly what I
Yeah, that
mean.
was like a it was I
Cash,
again
I
I'm
think
just
Cash
like
Patel talked
I
about
like
that,
to
right?
watch I've taken a lot of media and all that stuff, so it's like I was like looking at things and reading a ton of stuff and like looking at a lot of stuff. I mean, not doing your own research, but when that all happened, trying to get details, like has this ever happened before?
Hmm.
Um, but I know like a lot of people are just kind of like going by like the framing of it. I think my mom is like someone that's like, you know, but the January 6th committee found that this and this, that and that and whatever.
Mhm.
Because like, to her, it's you're not really watching it that closely, and like these big, powerful institutions are saying
This
things and
happened. Yeah.
yeah, saying
Joy
it happened,
Behar,
and
Kelly
well,
Ripa's upset about
she
it.
doesn't watch those
Okay,
tanks,
good.
um, but like kind of like mainstream, like, oh my God, that was really bad. Even like
Hmm.
Fox
Yeah.
News was like, oh, January, oh my God, it's so terrible. Um, anyway,
The Fox
Anyway.
News.
what else we got to talk about?
I think
Is
we
there anything else?
actually no. I think we've
We
We
really running through
extinguished
time?
it.
yeah, we tapped into everything that we meant to
Meghan
Oh, good
Markle has
job,
a
man.
new series on Netflix.
that nobody wants to watch.
Unbelievable. Trump needs to deport them.
Yes,
Like
please.
if things start to go bad, right? If
The
things like
Obamas
if
must be
like
producing that, right?
Probably. I don't know.
I don't wonder if it's all tied up in that. I don't know.
Oh,
I think they got
can't even
their no.
imagine.
I think Harry and Meghan got their own Obama Netflix
Deal
deal,
type
like
thing.
their own production deal where they have to do some shows.
Hmm.
That was just seemed very charitable,
Yeah.
very charitable. Yeah.
I'm sure
We
I'll see
should.
clips on TikTok eventually. I can't watch it. That Chaos book though that Tom O'Neill wrote, Greg Fitzsimmons'
Yeah.
friend, Netflix, I think it's maybe today or next week. They're releasing a docu-series about it. So that'll
Ooh,
be interesting.
I'm down for that.
What's
Manson,
that
the
about?
CIA. It's about Charles Manson and
Oh,
how the
okay, okay.
CIA, yeah, used
Well, wasn't
MK
that
Ultra.
why were they talking about that? Wasn't that like a recent Netflix
It's a
show, or was that
book. No, no,
another
no, it's a
Netflix?
book. It's a
Okay.
book.
And
Yeah.
then
That
the
everyone's been talking about, and so they're releasing a docu-series about it. Interesting.
Yeah.
More people, more eyes on, what the government is capable of because the MK Ultra stuff is wild. Like what that book says basically is that the government created Charles Manson and made all that stuff happen to stop the hippie movement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think there's like a good balance. Like I think that I think it's interesting. I think it's very possible.
Yeah.
I think it's like it's possible that that stuff was going on, but at the same time, it's possible that it really wasn't effective. You know what I mean? Like like the way it's framed, it seems like it made it all like, but maybe it wasn't. It was like
I
like
guess the clinic that was doing it in the Haight Ashbury like just recently closed down. like in
Yeah,
Yeah.
2018.
within
So
the last
yeah,
5 years or something.
yeah.
Those are, yeah, I
I
don't know.
love how you always wanna
Well, because you have to kind of keep a balance between
yeah.
like you have to have some kind of like
No, it's scary.
foundation and you have
Hmm.
to keep a balance of like, well, how much do I want to care about what they did
Yeah,
50 years ago? Because most of those people are dead. Now, yes,
right.
maybe they have all had proteges that are doing all the same shit, but it's like,
Yeah.
how much do I want to care about that versus how much do I want to care now about like Doge or Department of
Did,
Education being destroyed,
did we
um,
talk about
things like that. So
the GATE program in school? Were you either one of you in the GATE program?
I think
I
I've met, I remember you talking about that, but I'm
Yeah,
not
they're
I
sure.
was
Is that
talking
like oh,
screened for it.
gifted and talented, exceptional, whatever.
I
yeah,
was
yeah, yeah.
screened for it, but I don't know if I was ever admitted or approached, but like I did the whole test and all that bullshit.
Yeah, interesting. Uh,
Yeah.
so the
I was in
screening
some
for it, I think
things,
is
but uh,
Huh?
yeah, yeah. What are you going to say?
the screening for it, I think is like they take kids that maybe are like living in like maybe a problematic lifestyle or whatever, or kids that there's a lot of stuff on TikTok now because the kids that were in it are like having questions about it because it was weird. Like they were having us like do like there was like a lot of sound tests and there were a lot of like memory tests and like do you see things like just like a lot of weird things like that I I just went to this class every
I
day.
believe it. I mean, I kind of, I believe that may have been happening because
Yeah,
in a locality it was happening. Like
Hmm.
right.
if you went and talked to like your local school board in the 80s or 70s, 80s, they were like, "Yes, of course, we're testing the students like all the time because we're trying to like there I think there's a big effort to like collect data. I mean, there's always is
Yeah,
like collect data to like because we want to, maybe that's altruistic because it's like you're trying to figure out are kids getting better at math. So we're testing them and we're doing all these like
yeah.
our kids. And then it
They weren't
but then
math
it's
tests,
also
so
but it, all like or all kinds of physiological things too even
yeah,
and it would make sense for like at some point there's somebody that's going to be like, hey, we should also throw in some like sound tests and some
yeah.
weird stuff and like
Some
because it's
telepathy. Can
like
you see this? Yeah.
yeah, I mean, and also it's like, again, judging by like the information that I get from my kids coming back from school, I got no fucking idea. Like they could
Yeah.
be, they'd be like, yes, Dad, I was tested today for like they showed me like a series of 10 different spaceships and asked me if I recognized any. And I'm like,
Yeah. I
I'd be
always
like,
wonder
okay,
like if my mom knew
okay.
that they were doing that. I mean, I probably don't know if she would have cared, but I always wonder like, did they like ask her to do that or yeah. Anyways, interesting. If anyone
I
else was
think
in
they
the
were
gate program,
also,
let us know. Let's
I think
talk.
there's also like, like one thing we have today is like our kids have like, magically have these like, oh, kids, today there's a dentist coming in to tell you about what they do.
Yeah.
Oh, and also they have these packets of like free toothpaste, free toothbrush, and
Fluoride.
a
Yeah.
business card. Yeah, not the floor, but
Yeah.
it's like, oh, it turns out this is a new local dentist office.
Right.
And the school kind of gave them access to our kids because they all feel like, well, it's, kids got to brush their teeth, right? Like, and it's like,
Yeah.
it's okay, but it is also just kind of a marketing thing. So it just makes
Yeah.
sense that like once like you have kids testing, then other people are going to have like ideas about, well, we should be really worried about kids hearing, right? Because these
Yeah.
kids are listening to loud music in the 70s, and maybe we
Yeah.
should start. And it's like people just have ideas, and then someone says, is there a budget for that? And the
Right.
government's like, sure,
Yeah.
sure,
Yeah.
sure.
It wasn't
Yeah. And then
it
it's like,
wasn't
well, let's do it. Let's
everybody.
start
They pulled
testing. Yeah.
they pulled like me and like there was probably like four people in the gate class, but they pulled us, they were all from all different grades. And they pulled us into this other place, and it wasn't like everybody was getting these tests. It was just these four people went every day to this classroom with this person, like a man or a woman, just not teachers, just people that were performing the tests at the gate class.
Yeah, I
Anyways,
don't know.
anyone else?
I think
Just
that
me.
like they're probably like doing.
Never to that extent, no.
I don't
Hmm.
remember. I don't really don't. I don't know if I remember. Like I think I don't really remember. Like I feel like I kind of coasted through like early school. Like I was just very like teachers all really liked me a lot. So
Yeah,
they
good
could have been doing
grades.
all they could have been doing all kinds of stuff, and I'd have been like,
I'm in.
okay, like is this gonna be hard work? No, I'm in. Like this.
Yeah, yeah.
So I don't really remember. I remember well. I got in trouble a lot, so yeah, I wasn't gonna get picked for any kind of special
Surprise,
program.
surprise.
Did your principal have a whooping? We were get spanked, spanking board.
The paddle.
No, no. Like the most I did have I was telling my kids about this. I had a teacher, Miss Starling, in third grade. She was what's the thing where you fall asleep? Narcoleptic?
Narcolepsy. Yeah.
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 She had that. It was incredible.
Nice.
There was a day towards the end of the year. It was like Lord of the Flies in 45 minutes because she fell asleep on the floor. It was I'll tell the story another day. It was incredible. It was
Who was
amazing.
Piggy in the classroom? That's all I want to know.
I don't know, wasn't me.
Okay.
Wasn't me, man. No, sir.
Oh.
Uh, well, happy Friday, you guys.
I just remember a teacher can't like like
Oh.
it just escalated to where okay,
Yeah,
we'll end it there.
that's not a good teacher disease to
Third grade,
have.
Mrs. Starling.
Mm.
She was the only like old. I didn't grow up that I'm not that old where like teachers are hitting you, but like she did hit. She did try to hit my hands with a ruler
On the desk.
on the desk, and I
They were
moved my
allowed to do
hands out
that.
of
I
it.
think they went from the butt to
Yeah,
the
and I moved
hands.
my hand like, and she was old. She had like a beehive, so she probably
Yeah.
was allowed to do that for a long time. But I moved my
Yeah.
hands out of the way, and I was like, "Oh shit!" But I was like, I was a
Yeah.
real shithead. I was a real shithead. I'll admit it.
Yeah.
But
Same.
so we were like, in the corner of the room where the cubbies were, there was like Legos or something, and she went back there to clean up, like in between, subjects, and then she fell asleep on the floor.
Maybe she was an alcoholic.
No, I, oh yeah, okay. Yeah. You know what? You know what? Uh these grown-ups lied. They were like, "Yeah, she's got a weird sleeping condition called narcolepsy." Oh my God. I can't believe I felt.
All this
I mean, the fact
time.
that she went back into the cubby area to clean and then
Well,
took a
no, no,
nap.
I don't think so. I
Narcolepsy
don't
like comes on.
know. She like all I know is that one of us went back there and we were just like, Mrs. Starling's asleep on the floor. And none of us, no one, not a single kid was like, let's go get help. Not a single kid. Not a single kid was. We should get.
Let's start some shit.
I don't think that's a dangerous time because in third grade, I'm not even sure if like in the third grade and say what 1980, no 1970 something. I'm in the third grade. It's like I'm not sure kids were aware of like check a pulse or anything like that. It was just like
How to call
we were just like,
911. It
yeah,
was an
there was no
operator.
phone.
I don't
There
even
were
think
no
there was a
phones.
911. It was
There was no
operator. You had to call the
phones.
operator.
There
Yeah.
were phones, but you'd have to go to the office. Like
Yeah,
there was
for
maybe
sure.
an intercom, but
Yeah.
there's no phone in every room. But she fell asleep, and it was like, oh my God. It was like I can imagine it now. Like we were just like, okay, and we're whispering, like, okay, we can just play for a little while. But then like it escalated, then we were being loud. And then I
Yeah.
guess like what happened was then like maybe like 45 minutes later. I'd say that because like before like the
Yeah.
next subject change or whatever. Um, like we had just gotten so loud that a teacher like came in there and she was like, "What is going on?"
It's like, oh no, it's happened again.
And she was like, what? And we're like, ah. And then she found her over in the corner, woke her up, and it was just, I don't
He
know,
was
just,
drunk. Yeah. Yeah.
and
She
it
was
was like
drunk.
narcolepsy.
Narcolepsy.
Then the next day, like it was we had a, yeah, that was the weird thing that happened to us the next day. Like there was a big lesson on narcolepsy.
Now, kids, every now and
It's a
then this will
very,
happen.
yes, it's, boys and girls, it's a very common condition. Like, but
And
yeah,
I
it was,
Not
know
wow, that was incredible. I'll never, that was like a very, it was a long time
core
ago,
memory.
man. That was like
Core memory.
just finding her laying on the floor like that.
it.
And then we're just like, oh man, we got a lot of free time on our hands.
That's
Oh.
funny.
And then
All right.
the teacher was like, what is going on?
What did I just walk into? What happened?
My
It was
narcolepsy
brief.
is about to kick in. It's after my bedtime.
All right, then. I think it's time that we wrap this up, my friend.
Yeah, do what you want. Get it on.
Get on,
Have a great
everybody.
weekend, everybody. Yeah, that
Happy
was a long time.
Friday.
Yeah.
Catch
Cheers.
y'all
And,
next time.
ease up on the narcolepsy,
Oh,
you know,
definitely. Don't
drink a
tell me
lot
how
of,
to live.
no, have a little water, like drink a
You
glass of
ease
water
up on the narcolepsy.
in between the narcolepsy. You drink a glass of water,
Not a lot of narcolepsy this week.
make it, take an Advil before you go to bed.
Stay hydrated, everybody.
Yes, sir.